Okay, so Dark, My Light. Another film from the good man Ted, right? It is oh, written, directed by Neal Dhand, who also produces alongside John Aranda, Neil J. Sampat, and Sergio Ugut de Resea. It is executive produced by Jerry Pass and Joshua C. Pies. It is line produced by Melissa McNeary. Julia Kent takes care of music. Charles Akeley Anderson is on cinematography. Sebastian Gregor and Kristen Swanbeck edit the piece, while Jennifer Peralata Algerman is behind all the casting. Production design, we have Sean Carroll. Constance Lee is costume design. Hair makeup, we have Monique McLaughlin and Jennifer Kaiser. And our cast. So, Mitchell Morse is played by Albert Jones. His wife, Emily, is played by Keesha Sharp. Then there's Dreyfus Trier, played by Tom Lipinski. Riley Tyler is played by G.J. Thompson. We have Mitchell's boss, John Handley, played by Stephen Sean Garland. There's Marie, played by Kimberly Oren. Annie, played by Mandy Mills. Anita Spires, played by Kim Crow. Ryan is played by Alexander Jesus Bogas. The murderer is played by Fletcher Barnes. So that's our main cast. The girl we see constantly is played by Katie Jean Schultz. Bill, played by Todd Scheller. Laura, played by Alexis Luzel. Ellsworth, played by Austin Jaworski. Adrian, played by Michael Humph. Right, so the gist of the film is Mitchell Moore's investigation into a serial killer in a sleepy beach town is complicated by a severed foot on the beach, his fracturing relationship with his wife, and his own slipping sanity. Yeah. This is this is such an odd film. It's such an odd film, people. And saying it's such an odd film isn't this is terrible, don't see it. It's just, there's so much happening, right? In the story, in what you should be focusing on. Like, there's so many threads that it's man, you will trip yourself up watching it. You really will. It's I can't think of anything similar, to be honest. You know what I mean? There's trippy films for sure, but this one is like bonks, right? Because we start off and we have this little girl playing on the beach. She looks, sees a mum. Then we've got Mitchell running. He's at a lighthouse. And then there's this weird light, and we see him grimacing. You know, and you're like, oh, okay, what's going on here? Right? We have this. Then we're with Dreyfus, you know, an incident with him, back to Mitchell, and you're just trying to piece it together because you're watching, and then all of a something crazy happens, something really bonkers happens that you're like, wait, did I miss something? And then you realize there's a displacement, right, with time. And so it then pulls into question every single thing, and you're trying to go, okay, what is the thread I should be following? Because essentially this seems to be a story, right? This seems to be a story about wanting something, right? Desiring something, thinking something is yours, but not understanding what it truly is, right? I think it's kind of similar to, at times you see people that say they really want something, right? Like, if I had this thing, I'd be happy. And then they get it and nothing changes, right? And you can see that they've realized that, yeah, they didn't even really want this thing, right? This thing doesn't move the needle. It doesn't change their life. Everything is still the same, right? Or we've seen people cover others, right? They'll be like, I want to be with that person, but for no real reason, right? It's just in their mind that person is maybe attractive or wealthy or can open up doors for some reason. So they want to be with that, and then they get that person, and then it's just like, there's nothing there, right? We can't communicate on any level. We have nothing in common, right? And that seems to be like the backbone of this film, right? The chasing of something that was never yours to chase in the first place, which is like an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept, but there are times when you're wondering, okay, so who is the protagonist here? Like, who are we rooting for? Because there's all our three key players can come off as being kind of, twisted, being kind of manipulative, being a little dishonest. So you're trying to work that out, but then there's this whole thing of some people aren't necessarily who or what you think they are. So it's kind of a mind fuck, people. It really is. But it's done very well, right? And we got some very good acting. Because I remember, like, as it first started, you're like, it feels a little bit like a caricature, right? Like, as you have, hey, how do you work in those heels? How do you work in those heels? How do you work in those heels? Right? And you have this moment, and the character's like doing all of this, and you're like, yeah, this feels a little weird. But it's not until a bit later on that then you see why that is, right? You understand, okay, right. Yeah, it feels like it's an act because it kind of is. So nothing is laid out for you. You have to really be focused and in tuned so you can kind of see where the fuck this is going. Right? This is not a film to watch if you're kind of busy, right? If you haven't got full focus on it. You can't just dip in and dip out. You know what I mean? You have to be like, yo, I'm just on this. So it's not the film to watch late at night when you're a little tired or anything like that. You need to be fully immersed to be able to coalesce with what the fuck is going on, which isn't a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily perfect because I think, although, yeah, even when you're super focused on it, there are still things that aren't necessarily as clear as they could be. And what I mean is when you have like these confessional moments, these clearing of the airs and all of that, even when it's supposedly being laid out, it's still a little bit murky, right? Still a little bit murky. So I think sometimes the script was maybe a bit too obscure, let's be a bit too smart, right? But I think all in all, it is intriguing. It is definitely intriguing. And I kind of do like the end because it's not necessarily a resolution. And that's fine because sometimes life, shit don't, get packaged up nicely with a bow, right? Sometimes it's all messy and just like, fuck, what do we do here? You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, My Dark Light, right? Just the crazy time and like the effects to show this dilution of things, of sequences, right? The way it's played with like the slight tweaks of appearance and everything like that. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting and I thought it worked well. Right, so My Dark Light is out on Tuesday the 6th of May. So if it sounds like it could be your kind of jam, you'll be able to get it on all your favorite VODs. Okay, so that is our thoughts on My Dark Light.